Thank you very much for having me at the panel today and sharing some of my thoughts. It's a pleasure to be able to share some insights on brand strategy and emerging trends with you. To give you a little context, my name is Gaurav Sinha. I'm the founder and CEO of Insignia Worldwide, which is the region's only brand enrichment company dedicated to luxury hospitality, travel, and destination brands. I'm an advertising man who became a hotelier and established Insignia 15 years ago as an agency that makes people fall in love with places, not products. We are the people behind some of the best brands of Dubai, including Dubai Tourism. We work with them and about 200 hotels across 20 countries. I usually ask people, what's the definition of hospitality? And I get different answers from different individuals. But I always respond by saying that hospitality is the front line of cultural diplomacy for a nation. How hospitable you are can drive your GDP and define your position on the world stage. Now, there's a lot one can learn from the hospitality industry when it comes to going global or staying relevant locally. Great hospitality brands are bridges between cultures, and it's amazing how one can learn about universal aspirations and connect them to local nuances and cultures. Now, Dubai has been a great example of steering the global hospitality industry with some of the world's most iconic properties, and the city still continues to build another 150,000 keys as it prepares for the 2020 World Expo. Travel and tourism play a critical role in this city's economic growth, and brands like Emirates Airlines have grown rapidly to become world leaders in literally every sense of the word. Brands like Jumeirah and Emirates have taken Dubai to the world, elevating Dubai's reputation by capturing the imagination of people. However, Dubai has always also remained true to its Arabian roots. I've always stated that when it comes to brands or places, people talk about USPs, unique selling points, and so forth. And I believe many companies want to define that competitive advantage by looking and exploiting those USPs. But when it comes to destination brands, places, people, I don't believe there are any USPs. The correct lens to look at this is to look at a place or destination to have an enduring essence. And an essence is superlative in nature, it is not comparative. It's true to itself, not because others exist. The growth of digital technology, globalization, and convergence of industries has blurred the lines rapidly. We are all now global citizens, more connected than ever before. And the unchallenged growth of capitalism has shrunk the world and enriched it simultaneously. There are many challenges of taking brands global, from issues regarding tax regulation, public policy mandates, cultural nuances, closed borders, trade tariffs, custom duties. There are numerous invisible barriers one needs to overcome to actually hit the ground running and gain market share in new geographies. Issues like these are a clear demonstration of the need for people to connect with local expertise and skills that allow brands to mitigate the risk of failure. I'll share with you an anecdotal story about a brand, a very well-renowned FMCG brand, that wanted to start selling powdered milk in Africa. And they had these tins of powdered milk with an image of a child on the actual packaging, and noticed over a couple of seasons that nobody was buying their products. And the insight was that people in rural Africa associate images of packaging with what's actually inside them. So a majority of people simply thought there was a child inside the tin. So that sort of gives you the importance of understanding the cultural nuances of a community and how critical it is in growing a brand in new markets. So if you were to ask me, how do we build brands in a globally connected world? These three words actually amplify and position themselves as the principal pillars of growth for any brand, immaterial of whether they are playing in their home market or aspiring to enter new ones. Truth, transparency, and trust. There's no place to hide from the truth. The new generation of consumers are actively seeking evidence that validates promises made by brands. They don't want hollow slogans or promises and they actively seek authenticity in messaging. This is a universal truth, and brands need to be aware of how to share their own truth in the most equitable and engaging manner when trying to go global. Transparency is equally critical, as people want to see proof of how you're delivering on the promises you make. Truth and transparency are the cornerstones to create trust, and it's important to build a framework of messaging that conveys your brand's proposition in key markets. Tomorrow's customers are not customers, they're activists. They want to be associated with brands that actually create positive impact. This means you have to know their aspirations and build cues of advocacy that relate to them intelligently. ROE, not ROI. Ethical practices, sustainability, community engagement, from fair trade to fair chain, brands of the future will need to embrace the principles of ROE, not ROI. Now, if you're wondering what ROE is return on empathy, the manifestation of driving positive impact as a brand as you break into new markets. I don't know whether I'm going to give you a little, inside anecdotal again. The birth of an LLC, a limited liability company, was a privilege given by a sovereign government to an individual in their quest to do good for society. This was during the industrial age when companies were generating jobs and entrepreneurs had the safety of an LLC to not end up in jail if they went bust. Today, there's limited or no contracts between corporations and society. The contracts are with shareholders, driving value by financial gain. Companies of the future and brands that want to really penetrate the global marketplace and capture the share of mind of individuals will have to have a profound sense of purpose which transcends profitability. And I believe those companies that embrace return on empathy as their lens will dominate the globe, as customers will seek brands that align to these values. There are many great stories of brands that have surged ahead and broken new ground. From Tom's Shoes to Shake Shack, Warby Parker, there are many companies out there today who are not just doing great, but they're also doing good. So that's the formula, quite honestly. I'm sure you've seen this before: global plus local, local. Global authority through local engagement. Brands need to align to universal aspirations and make them relevant in different markets. This is done through deep understanding and empathy towards understanding cultures, people, and places, to really dive into the nuances that shape a community and then navigate those waters with truth, transparency, and trust. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today and sharing some of my views. I hope you have a pleasant session subsequently and an evening of networking. Thank you.